Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Red-Rupee class. Let me introduce you to the long, gloomy corridors that are Judgment of Carrion. The map here today, two opponents. We've got on the blue side as our flamboyantly pink Warp Spider Exarch is ChokoBambus, and on the other side of the map, I don't even really know how to say this name. I'm just going to call him by what looks like his clan name. I'll call him Sorg for this match. The Stark White Ravener Alpha as the Tyranid player here. So let's go ahead and get this game started. The Warp Spider Exarch and the Ravener, both very mobile heroes, so we'll probably see a lot of map control on this. If you've never watched a replay featuring ChokoBambus, he prefers a very indirect combat style. He doesn't really engage full on. He normally hits and fades, takes map control, and really just tries to whittle you away while pulling the map out from under you. We'll see how this goes. With the Ravener, of course, he's going to have his tunnels, be able to hop around the map with his whole army unless you keep his tunnel network under control. And we'll see how that goes. Taking a look at the opening cap orders, as I was talking about the speedy armies, both Eldar and Tyranid, and the speedy heroes, both players really just taking points all across the map. Cap order not really too important for them because they can just go ahead and grab it all right away. You can see our first little skirmish here between the Ravener and some Guardians. They're certainly not going to be able to handle that, so they're going to try to fall back to these Banshees, get a little support going here. And you can see Sorg has gone for the standard double Termagant opening build here for Tyranid. With the Ravener, we might be seeing that dreaded range blob O'Doom that Tyranids have become so famous for. One model drops, he falls back, no big deal there. Meanwhile, the Banshee's going to go up and start slicing into these Termagants. Meanwhile, the Warp Spider looks like he's racked up a casualty or two of his own, and probably going to start backcapping here. Or maybe harassing this power. Nope, there he goes for the teleport. Going to grab that requisition point in the back. That's pretty mature. Meanwhile, losing his power node on the bottom. No big deal. He did cap both, and seeing that the lower one was in danger by losing that engagement, he opted to build his generator on the other side. Meanwhile, the Banshees are trying to keep the tunnels under control and do a little bit of extermination duty, getting rid of the tunnels. They do have aspect upgraded. They're going to fleet of foot in, hopefully getting in there before the toxin sacks. You can see that was perfect timing right before the toxin sacks upgraded, and it looks like they're going to escape into the tunnel. Good play by the Ravener. They're going to pop right back out on the other side, pop that toxin, and force the Banshees to retreat. Pretty good play there. I like that a lot. He used the tunnel to escape and then turn and fire. Good play by Sorg. Meanwhile, Choko taking some of the center map there. Warp Spider looks like he got scared off a little bit. Choko's still not having this rear requisition point, unfortunately. It looks like he either missed that or that got decapped somewhere when I wasn't paying attention. Choko getting himself a Shuriken Cannon to deal with all these ranged Nid squads here between the two Termagants, and the Ravener.
We trust in your guidance. We are plagued by tyranny.
Little hit and fade. As I said, this is probably going to be a pretty hit and fade map between these two armies and heroes. A lot of small engagements throughout the match, I'm sure, and just both players trying to preserve their armies as best as possible. You can see the Shuriken moving into position here just in time to save the Banshees from any major hurt. And they're going to go ahead and knock this Ravener tunnel out. Meanwhile, it looks like Sorg's going to get himself a Ravener brood here, and Choko is taking some forward map while Sorg backcaps his requisition. Oh, excellent special attack by the Howling Banshees, knocking all those Hormagaunts right on their backs, but unfortunately not going to be able to handle that. They both retreated at the same time. Unfortunate those Banshees could have stuck around and grabbed the point, but it was a bit too risky with the Hormagaunts and Ravener there to leave those in the battle. Banshees are pretty expensive to reinforce, don't want to lose them unnecessarily. No battle equipment yet because he's opting for a second Shuriken Cannon. Unfortunate because a retreat grenade right here would have been excellent, but he really wants to get that second Shuriken Cannon on the field, I think, and especially with Raveners now also here, going, of course, straight for the Devourer upgrade, making them do excellent range damage as well as their standard melee, which is also very powerful.
We have it, Farseer.
And you can see, I've always liked this move, the Choko just go ahead and using this little nook here to hide his shuriken back here, in case anyone braves the darkness to come take that victory point. Warp Spider always harassing, didn't quite have the energy for a jump there, so he had to retreat out of that blob. Meanwhile, the Guardians look like they are going to get... Nope, not quite. He recognizes the threat of all this coming up behind his Guardians and going to pull back a little preemptively, make sure he doesn't lose anything. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to defend that power node. His shuriken's a bit too far back, and the Guardians rolling out of there, hoping to get through that pile of bugs. Banshees had to fall back. You can see just the immense damage that that this range blob is already doing. One quick salvo and they were down below half HP. Meanwhile, map control going pretty solid back and forth here. You can see the Ravener's network of tunnels set up through the middle of the map here, really allowing him to have a very mobile army.
Generator operational.
Here comes a burrow strike on the shuriken cannon. Nothing there to support it right now. Oh no, he might not be watching it. It's in a lot of trouble. It looks that a little late to retreat, and that shuriken does go down. Little oversight by Choko. I'm not sure if he saw what was going on. Oh, the Guardian's now also in the... Oh no! That's two squads right in a row for ChokoBambus. He is really going to be in a tight spot. Instantly repurchases that shuriken weapon team. I guess hoping to be able to keep these Raveners under control. I'm not sure if that's the best choice for Raveners, but I'm sure Choko's a better player than I am, so let's see where his judgment takes him. As I was mentioning before, this is pretty much that range blob that I was talking about. The one melee squad, the Hormagaunts, did go down, but now you're seeing two squads of Termagants, two squads of upgraded Devourer Raveners, and of course the Ravener himself. Both players going pretty heavy on tier 1. Of course, Sword realizing that the various power bashes he's gotten on Choko probably going to keep him a little behind, so he does not mind investing heavily in tier 1. You can see with both these Raveners. The shurikens have not really been too effective yet this round, either getting set up too late or set up just in time, again for a burrow strike. So unfortunately those just haven't been pulling it off so far today. You can see those Raveners just doing terrible retreat damage on that gun. It just barely escapes with its life despite almost immediately retreating in the face of that ranged Nid blob there.
The enemy has destroyed one of our structures.
Meanwhile, again, the shuriken cannon just a bit out of position and unsupported. I feel like he really needs to be using these Banshees to support his shuriken cannons with all these Raveners around. He can use his Warp Spider to teleport to the far ends of the map and keep the map control, but he's been finding his shurikens repeatedly out of position here, and he really needs to keep those on the field if he hopes to keep the map control in his favor.
Shuriken cannon team ready. We trust in your guidance.
Meanwhile, the Raveners are just moving in pairs together here and gonna force those Banshees off pretty much immediately. There was the predictive burrow strike. He was planning on the Banshees just charging, but they did not. That probably actually helped Choko a little bit since they weren't there to melee on retreat. They did lose a couple members, but they did get out of there pretty well considering the circumstances. Now you can see the shurikens backing each other up here, but they did manage to flank the first one. They are outside of its firing arc, and they probably will be able to get in on this one without much trouble. You can see both players finally hitting tier 2 here, and the Ravener Alpha already has his damage synapse upgrading now. So that'll give 30% bonus damage to all of his ranged units nearby with that synapse. So we're going to really take that range mass to a critical state here.